Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that boils down all the latest research, the reports, the insights into exactly what you need to know fast.
That's right.
Today, we're plunging into a world that honestly most of us never really see. It operates behind the scenes, but it's absolutely crucial for keeping, well, everything running. We're talking industrial equipment, commercial vehicles.
The backbone of the economy, really.
Exactly. Think about, I don't know, a factory robot, a delivery truck. When something breaks, how do businesses get the right part, the right service, like now?
Yeah, it's way more complex than you might think, and vital.
It really is.
We're talking about the aftermarket, and specifically something called commerce for manufacturing. This isn't, your Amazon Prime experience.
It's not just clicking buy now on a standard widget.
Not at all. It's specialized digital platforms, tools, all designed to help manufacturers, OEMs, that's original equipment manufacturers, and their dealers buy and sell industrial gear, spare part services, all online.
Okay, so it's more than just a fancy label for B2B e-commerce then. What makes it so different, so specialized?
That's a key distinction. Unlike, let's say, basic e-commerce, these commerce for manufacturing platforms, they're purpose-built. They have to connect complex things like digital parts catalogs, personalized pricing that changes for every customer, real-time inventory checks, and even really complex product configurations. All that has to flow into seamless B2B and sometimes B2C transactions.
And these businesses are global, right?
Absolutely. So these platforms have to handle multiple brands under one roof, different currencies, different languages. It's essential for that kind of global reach and, frankly, the complexity of modern supply chains.
So our mission today in this deep dive is really to expose how digital innovation is just completely revolutionizing this vital but maybe often overlooked sector.
Yeah, shine a light on it.
We want to pull back the curtain, show you the surprising benefits, the strategic opportunities. We're drawing from recent industry reports, white papers, even talking to people on the ground. It's all about showing you how this digital shift is reshaping a critical part of the economy.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so our sources, they pretty consistently highlight some, let's say, universal pain points in the aftermarket.
Yeah.
What are these big challenges businesses are really grappling with right now?
Yeah, and it's interesting. The sources don't just call them challenges. They use this phrase, silent revenue killers.
Ooh, that's evocative. Silent revenue killers.
It is, isn't it? Because it highlights how these aren't like obvious line items on a budget. They're invisible drains, just constantly eroding profit, eroding trust, and often no one can quite pinpoint why.
Okay.
So we've basically identified 6 core challenges from the research. First up, and it's pervasive, is fragmented systems. So many OEMs, so many dealers, they're still relying on this patchwork of old, disconnected systems.
Legacy stuff, probably.
Absolutely. Legacy systems, managing parts, service, customer data, it's all siloed. And this fragmentation, it just creates huge inefficiencies. It leads to delays in getting service done, and crucially, it means missed chances to actually make money.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine your inventory system doesn't talk to your service department system. Simple. Right.
Yeah.
But that disconnect can easily cause frustrating stockouts, the part's not there when you need it, or the opposite problem, you end up overstocking, which ties up capital.
Right, the tangled web. A real headache for just getting through the day. What's next? What other friction are they facing?
Well, that fragmentation leads directly into the second challenge, inefficient parts planning. If you don't have real-time visibility, like actual visibility into demand and what you have on the shelf,
You're just guessing.
you're basically guessing. Parts planning becomes totally reactive,
wow.
and that causes big delays in getting parts where they need to be. It drives up costs, think expedited shipping fees, and maybe worst of all, it leads to really unhappy customers whose equipment is down.
And I bet a lot of these crucial steps, like getting a part ordered or a warranty processed, still involve manual work.
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us neatly to challenge number 3, manual processes. Think about workflows for critical stuff. Processing warranty claims, handling service tickets, scheduling technicians, often heavily reliant on manual steps. Emails, spreadsheets, phone calls.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and that makes them super prone to errors, super inefficient. It slows everything down and ramps up the administrative costs. It's just a massive drag on productivity.
And when you talk manual processes, delays, my mind goes straight to the customer. That friction behind the scenes, they must feel that, right?
It's unavoidable, and that's the 4th challenge, significant customer experience gaps. Look, customers today, whether their business is buying parts or consumers needing service, they expect seamless digital experiences, like everywhere else in their life.
Like the Amazon effect or the Uber effect.
Exactly. They want to easily find the right part, book service online, track things. If you don't have the modern digital tools to meet those expectations, it leads to huge frustration, and eventually they'll just go somewhere else. Loss of loyalty.
Okay. And what about the bigger picture?
Mm.
Environmental responsibility,
Mhm.
sustainability. That's huge now. Does that play in?
Increasingly critical. It's not just a nice to have anymore. So the fifth point is sustainability challenges. You've got growing pressure from regulators, growing demand from customers for greener practices.
Like remanufacturing parts.
Exactly, remanufacturing, recycling programs, circular economy initiatives. But many businesses really struggle to scale these efforts effectively. The systems, the infrastructure often just isn't there to support it efficiently.
And with all this complexity, all these different systems you mentioned, there must be just mountains of data being generated. Are they using it, or are they just sitting there?
Often, yeah, it's untapped. That's the sixth challenge, the limited use of data. Many OEMs, they just fail to leverage the vast amounts of data they collect. Why? Well, usually because of those siloed systems we talked about. Or maybe they just lack the advanced analytics tools or skills.
So they're flying blind in some ways.
In many ways, they're missing out on crucial insights for optimizing operations, for predicting what parts will be needed where, for spotting new service opportunities. It's a huge missed opportunity.
Okay, so those are the big problems, these silent revenue killers. If that's the diagnosis, where do you even start with the cure? Our sources keep pointing towards the digital parts catalog as like a foundational first step. What exactly is that, and how does it start tackling these deep issues?
Right, the digital parts catalog, or sometimes called an electronic parts catalog, EPC. It's basically an online interactive solution. It lets users, could be customers, dealers, technicians, quickly search for, identify, and then order spare parts.
So moving way beyond like a PDF document or a dusty binder?
Oh, absolutely. It's really a foundational piece for modernizing, for actually improving how the aftermarket runs.
How does it make things better for someone, say, a technician, who needs a part like yesterday?
It makes the whole process incredibly intuitive and visual. A modern digital catalog lets you search in ways that make sense, by the machine model, by the CU.
That's the product code, right?
Exactly, the stock keeping unit, unique identifier, or even by the specific serial number of the machine. And crucially, it gives you interactive visual diagrams, exploded views, schematics.
So you can see the part in context.
Precisely. You can validate compatibility quickly. One key feature the sources really highlight is this parts by shop diagram idea. You can visually explore an assembly, click on hotspots right on the diagram.
Okay, I see.
And instantly get the right documents, manuals, wiring diagrams, information about parts that have been updated or superseded. All right there. Think about the cost of ordering the wrong part or the hours wasted just searching for the right information.
Yeah, that adds up fast.
It does. And what's really revolutionary here, it's not just about being faster, it's the predictability it brings. You're building this seamless, almost error-proof way of getting parts that customers and dealers really value. It leads to far fewer misorders, a much quicker path from realizing you need a part to actually ordering it, and that means a big boost in customer satisfaction and, importantly, equipment uptime.
So you find the right part.
Yeah.
Can you then buy it right there, or do you have to jump to another system?
Ideally, no jumping. That's the integration piece. When the digital catalog integrates tightly with an e-commerce platform, users can do more than just ID the part. They can check real-time availability, is it actually in stock, see their specific pricing.
Personalized pricing you mentioned?
Yes, accurate personalized pricing. And then complete the purchase right there without leaving the portal. It drastically speeds up that whole order-to-cash cycle. And this includes deep hooks into, robust pricing engines, tools for running promotions, online ordering workflows, the whole shebang.
But parts change, right? Models get updated, suppliers change. How do you keep this mountain of information accurate? That seems like a constant battle.
It is, and continuous, accurate updates are absolutely critical. These systems are built for that. They have intuitive tools for making revisions easily, for uploading data in bulk, deviation alerts to flag anything that looks wrong.
Okay.
And more importantly, they integrate seamlessly with the company's core systems, like PLM, Product Lifecycle Management, where all the engineering and design data lives, or ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, which handles finance, inventory, core operations.
So changes flow through automatically.
Ideally, yes. Changes made in the core systems flow through instantly consistently to the catalog, so customers and dealers always see the latest correct information. There's often even a built-in ticketing or change request system, so you can track every single part change with a clear history.
Ooh!
Full traceability.
And scale.
Mm.
Can these things really handle a massive manufacturer with maybe hundreds of thousands of unique parts operating globally?
Without a doubt, these aren't lightweight websites. They're enterprise solutions, built for serious scale. They're designed to handle, 100,000 plus SKUs easily.
Right.
And remember the multi-brand, multi-entity, multi-language, multi-currency stuff. They handle that seamlessly. They're engineered for rapid deployment and global scalability, a robust foundation.
So it's not just finding a part. It's fundamentally changing the whole interaction, making it, like you said, better, faster, easier. But what does that actually feel like for the person using it, the customer, the technician? And what kind of real-world results are we seeing?
It's truly transformative for them. Less frustration, more confidence. And the numbers back it up. Companies using these modern digital catalogs, they report things like reducing incorrect orders by up to 20%.
Wow, 20% fewer wrong parts.
Yeah, think of the return costs, the delays. Then there's an astonishing 80% time saved in the actual ordering process. Just find and ordering the part.
80%.
And some real-world deployments have seen 90% fewer inquiry calls coming into customer support. People can just find what they need themselves. So the impact isn't just theoretical, it's very clear, measurable, hard numbers. And if we zoom out a bit, think about the bigger picture. This digital catalog, it's not just a tool in isolation, it's actually a powerful enabler for pretty much every single role within that whole aftermarket ecosystem, right from the OEM down to the dealer.
Okay.
And it even fundamentally changes how companies can attract new talent, especially, Gen Z.
Okay, let's unpack that. That sounds really important. How does a digital catalog empower these different roles? Maybe start with the OEM, the manufacturer themselves.
Right. For the OEM, it's foundational. Take the aftermarket manager. For them, the digital catalog provides real-time, granular data. What parts are selling where, usage patterns, trends.
The better decision-making.
Far more data-driven decisions, yeah. And it helps them ensure a consistent brand experience everywhere, globally. Then think about product support teams. The catalog becomes their single source of truth. Always updated technical info, diagrams, specs, service bulletins.
It's guesswork for them, too.
Exactly. It dramatically cuts down on errors when they're providing remote support, improves that first call resolution rate, gets customers back up and running faster.
And what about the folks who actually create all this information, the technical writers, or the people focused on driving online sales?
Good question. For a technical publications specialist, their job really shifts. It's less about creating static PDF manuals and more about dynamic content management. The catalog becomes this sophisticated publishing platform for interactive diagrams, living documents.
More dynamic, less static.
Right. And for the e-commerce manager, the catalog provides that robust, accurate, visually rich product data they absolutely need for a great online shopping experience. And that directly impacts things like reducing cart abandonment, increasing conversion rates, more sales online.
That all makes a ton of strategic sense for the manufacturer. But what about the dealers? They're the ones on the front lines, right? Dealing with customers day in, day out. How does this change things for them?
Yeah, for dealers, the impact is maybe even more immediate and profound. Our sources quote a real-world parts manager, Austin Mulligan. He says his experience is much closer to ground level, where his job is fundamentally about ensuring the customers are able to speak to someone who understands the nature of their businesses and has an immense amount of respect and value for our customers' time and expectations.
That's putting the customer first.
Absolutely. And he notes the most valuable success, it's derived from the access to information once held under lock and key, connecting the people who need X with people who have X.
Connecting people who need X with people who have X. That really cuts to the core of it, doesn't it? Sounds simple, but getting that X when you need it, that's the challenge.
It's often the biggest pain point. His quote really hammers home that daily reality.
I can definitely relate to that kind of frustration, just as a consumer. Now, what about the field service techs? The ones out there, wrench in hand, maybe in the middle of nowhere.
For them, a robust digital parts catalog, especially one accessible on mobile, even offline, it's a lifesaver. They can access the latest service bulletins, the correct wiring diagrams, check part revisions right there on their tablet or phone.
Even without an internet connection.
The best ones offer offline access, yeah. And this dramatically improves what they call first-time fix rates, getting the job done right the first time. That significantly reduces equipment downtime for the customer, makes field service way more efficient.
Okay, this brings us to something you touched on earlier, Gen Z. How do these digital tools specifically connect with this generation entering the workforce? They have pretty different expectations, right?
Radically different. And it's absolutely critical for attracting and keeping them. Gen Z employees, they're digitally fluent, right? They grew up with intuitive, app-like interfaces, instant info access on their phones.
They expect good tech.
They expect it. Our sources quote this really staggering statistic. A staggering 91% of Gen Z workers say technology offered by an employer would influence their job choice.
91%, wow.
It's not just a preference, it's a major factor. They don't want clunky, outdated systems.
So they're looking for efficiency, smart tools, not tedious manual stuff.
Exactly. They grew up surrounded by automation. They're quick to spot and advocate for tech that cuts out manual, repetitive work. Take an aftermarket customer success manager, for example, someone from Gen Z. They can use the analytics from these platforms for deep insights.
Proactive insights.
Right. Proactively spot issues, create value for customers. One case study showed this leading to a 98% very satisfied customer rating. It empowers them to be strategic, not just reactive firefighters.
And how does that translate to those more traditional hands-on roles, the technicians, the parts managers we just talked about?
It makes those jobs more appealing, too. For field service techs, having mobile apps gives them immediate access to the full service history of a machine, real-time diagnostics, maybe even next best action suggestions.
So less guesswork, more informed decisions.
Precisely. And the result? Big reductions in repeat service visits. One case study mentioned 90% fewer repeat visits and much higher first-time fix rates. As for parts managers, using data-driven planning based on actual reorder levels, consumption patterns, it transforms their role.
From counting bins to strategy.
Exactly. From manual counting and inventory guesswork to strategic inventory optimization. That aligns perfectly with what Gen Z wants. Efficiency, using data, making smarter decisions. It makes these essential jobs much more engaging and productive for this new workforce generation.
Okay, digital catalogs sound incredibly powerful, foundational even. But our sources also flag a specific, maybe even bigger pain point for dealers, supporting multiple brands. What's this new reality for dealer networks? Why is it such a headache?
Yeah, this is a huge one. The core issue is just a completely fragmented information landscape for the dealer. Our sources paint this picture, almost comical if it weren't so inefficient, of a parts manager with 3 screens open.
I can picture it.
One brand's OEM portal, another brand's PDF catalog, maybe some third-party lookup tool. And the reality is, many dealers support 5, 10, or even more brands. They have to service their customers' diverse fleets of equipment.
Right. Customers don't just own one brand of truck or tractor.
Exactly. And this fragmented, multi-system juggling act, it comes with significant hidden costs for the dealer.
What kind of costs, beyond just being annoying?
Well, first, there's the sheer amount of wasted time. It's not unusual for parts teams to spend 1 to 2 hours per day just bouncing between these different systems, re-entering info, trying to confirm if a part number changed.
An hour or two a day? That's huge.
It adds up incredibly fast. And that wasted time directly leads to missed sales. Every minute they spend hunting down a part in Brand X's clunky portal is a minute a customer might just call another dealer who's faster or, frankly, give up on the official OEM part altogether.
And that erodes loyalty over time.
Absolutely. It leads to lost customer loyalty because at the end of the day, customers don't really care about the specific OEM tool the dealer is using. They care about getting the right part for whichever brand of machine they have quickly and reliably. As one Canadian dealer parts manager put it, and I love this quote, "The brands don't matter, availability, info, and speed do."
Availability, info, and speed. That cuts right through it. Okay, I see how that fragmentation hurts the dealer's business. But how does it hurt the manufacturers themselves? Isn't it just, brand competition?
You'd think so, but it's actually much more strategic and maybe a bit insidious for the OEM. When dealers are forced to leave the OEM's own portal or system to go find information for a different brand, which happens constantly.
They lose focus on that OEM.
Exactly. Manufacturers lose mindshare. Their brand isn't the default, the first place the dealer looks anymore. They also lose data. Critical data. They don't see what's breaking on mixed fleets, what parts are being cross-shopped against competitors, how customers are really using equipment in the real world.
They lose that market intelligence.
Completely. And finally, they lose influence. As dealers rely more on third-party lookup tools or aggregators, those platforms start to fill the gap. They shape dealer behavior, maybe even influence pricing, all outside the OEM's control or benefit.
So the takeaway for manufacturers isn't to try and force dealers only use their system, but actually find a way to keep them in their ecosystem, even when they're servicing other brands. That sounds like a big strategic shift, an executive-level opportunity.
It absolutely is. The executive opportunity, as our sources frame it, requires this mindset shift. You don't lose by helping your dealer serve mixed fleets. You actually win by becoming their central, indispensable digital hub.
Be the hub.
Be the hub. This lets the OEM strategically control the experience. If you provide a great multi-brand digital catalog, every search, no matter the equipment brand, starts in your world. Your parts, your promotions, your remanufactured offers, they're always front and center.
And that automatically gives you a huge data advantage.
Huge advantage. You capture way more valuable data because if you're the foundational platform, you get visibility into all the demand signals hitting that dealer, not just for your own brand.
You see the whole picture.
You see the whole picture. That means much better forecasting, smarter inventory decisions across the network, and the crucial chance to promote your own high-margin parts or reman options as alternatives right when the dealer needs them. And fundamentally, it builds dealer loyalty. Make a dealer's life easier, solve their multi-brand headache. They'll remember who helped them serve customers efficiently and make money.
So it's also playing defense, preventing someone else from becoming that central hub.
Precisely. It helps defend against what the industry calls third-party displacement. If the OEM doesn't provide that unified, multi-brand catalog experience, you can bet someone else will try. And the research shows this platform displacement is a real threat. It risks up to $1.2 billion in annual aftermarket parts sales, shifting away from OEMs towards these aggregators.
Wow, $1.2 billion.
Yeah. These third parties aggregate the dealer's attention, siphon off that valuable data and influence that really should belong to the OEM.
So this isn't just about convenience. It's a major strategic imperative for OEMs to actually embrace the multi-brand reality, centralize it, rather than trying to fight it.
Exactly. And now this digital catalog, as foundational as we've established it is, it's usually part of something bigger, a broader integrated platform designed for, total aftermarket transformation.
Right.
Which brings us to a critical point. Beyond just finding parts, what other specialty apps or tools are really essential to transform the entire aftermarket end-to-end?
Okay, let's dig into that. The sources definitely talk about a whole suite of solutions working together. Can you give us the highlights? What are these other key pieces?
Absolutely. The big idea behind an aftermarket-led growth platform is clear. It's about achieving end-to-end integration, enabling proactive parts planning, automating tasks for huge efficiency gains, delivering that enhanced customer experience we talked about, supporting sustainability efforts, and providing those crucial data-driven insights.
So beyond the catalog, what specific apps add value? What about, say, managing customer support or field service?
Okay, good examples. First, think about a help desk or CRM customer relationship management tool, but tailored for aftermarket needs. This gives you a central place for all customer issues, a full ticket history, smart workflows for escalating problems, maybe a knowledge base for common fixes.
So faster resolutions.
Exactly. It directly improves resolution rates and boosts customer satisfaction scores. Then there's service management. This is about the actual service delivery. Tools for planning work, scheduling technicians efficiently, providing those next best action recommendations to the tech in the field.
Predictive maintenance, maybe?
Even proactive preventive maintenance capabilities, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all aimed at improving first-time fix rates and making sure your technicians are utilized effectively, not driving around unnecessarily.
Makes sense. And what about handling the physical flow of parts, especially with that sustainability angle, the remanufacturing?
Right. For that, you need specific tools, a remanufacturing or reman module. This focuses squarely on those sustainable circular economy solutions. It needs tools for managing cores, the used parts coming back, planning the remanufacturing production process, tracking work through the workshop.
Measuring the impact.
Yeah, the KPIs you track here are things like year-over-year increase in shift reman engines, or a reduction in the average time it takes to remanufacture a part, tangible sustainability progress. And then there's the mobile service van app. This helps techs doing on-site fixes.
The van itself becomes smarter.
Kind of, yeah. The app lets them log issues, maybe helps dispatch allocate the right tech, and critically, provides mobile warehouse functions. They can manage critical parts inventory right there in the van. That directly cuts down field operational costs.
Okay. And one area that always sounds like a nightmare is warranty claims. Huge administrative burden, right?
Massive point of friction and cost, which is exactly why you need a dedicated warranty management system, or WMS. It handles the whole claims process, reviewing claims, validating them against policies, managing approvals, plus defining the warranties accurately in the first place.
The goal is fewer bad claims, faster processing.
Precisely. It's designed to reduce the number of incorrect or fraudulent claims and drastically speed up processing time for legitimate ones. Our sources actually highlight a case study. One North American bus manufacturer managed to reduce their backlog of pending claims by 98% within just 2 quarters of implementing a WMS.
And 98%
Right.
in 6 months. That's incredible.
It's a staggering real-world impact. Shows the power of dedicated tools.
It really does. Now, our sources also mentioned something about rapid deployment, a unique program.
Yeah.
Sounded almost too good to be true for this level of enterprise software.
Yes. They talk about a program called Pilot in 2, Value Through, and it is different from your typical years-long IT slog. The idea is core implementation happens in literally the first 2 days.
2 days.
2 days, allowing the team to be actively using the core catalog functionality by week 2. It's designed to show immediate impact, immediate value, with no heavy IT lift or disruption to the business's current operations.
How do they manage that?
It's built on pre-configured best practices, cloud-native architecture. It's explicitly built for rapid transformation, not just incremental change. And interestingly, some providers offer outcome-based pricing for this. You essentially pay based on the results you achieve.
So less risk for the company adopting it.
Much less risk. It really flips the script on those traditional big bang, high-risk IT projects.
What's really fascinating here, then, is how these aren't just separate point solutions. They're designed to click together, right? Delivering this comprehensive, almost plug-and-play way to finally break down those data silos, those process bottlenecks, and crucially, doing it without the crippling cost and time of custom building everything.
Absolutely. And beyond just making things run smoother, these investments deliver significant, measurable ROI, real dollars back to the business, across the whole value chain, especially when you factor in that growing imperative around sustainability, which, as the sources say, is basically table stakes now.
Okay, so let's talk bottom line. What does all this digital transformation mean financially? And how does it really connect to those critical sustainability goals that, frankly, every company is wrestling with?
Well, first off, the aftermarket itself is a huge strategic lever for profit. The data consistently shows aftermarket services are outperforming new equipment sales in terms of growth and margin.
Higher margins in service than selling new machines.
Significantly higher. One report mentioned aftermarket operating margins being potentially 2.5 times higher than margins on new equipment sales. So this isn't just about fixing things. It's a massive high-margin revenue opportunity if you manage it well.
Wow, 2.5 times.
Okay.
And how does that massive financial engine connect with the push for sustainability?
They're becoming deeply intertwined. Sustainability isn't just optional anymore, it's driving customer choices and regulations. Research shows 73% of industrial customers are willing to pay a premium for sustainable offerings.
73%. So customers value it.
They value it, and they'll pay for it. And you see major companies responding, like John Deere has made public commitments, make products 95% recyclable, double down on the remanufacturing business. These digital platforms we've been discussing, they're the engine that makes scaling those circular economy initiatives efficient and traceable.
Got it. So the digital tools enable the sustainable practices, which customers increasingly want. Do we have some hard ROI numbers that really bring these combined benefits to life?
Oh yeah, the sources are full of compelling metrics. We already mentioned the 80% reduction in time to order, huge efficiency gain. Then there's a 250% improvement in CSAT customer satisfaction scores. That's massive for loyalty and repeat business.
250% improvement.
And think about equipment uptime keeping customer machines running. They're seeing a 125% jump in machine uptime. And remember that warranty stat? 98% fewer pending warranty claims in 60 days for that bus manufacturer. Real cost savings.
Those are truly game-changing numbers. Anything else that really stands out?
Definitely. On the sustainability front, a 22% year-over-year increase in remanufacturing production tangible progress. Customer satisfaction popping up again, with some seeing increases over 30%, and that one case with 98% very satisfied customers. Online order conversion rates, direct sales increasing by 30%.
More direct revenue.
More direct revenue. And just having efficient warranty processes, that alone can save companies up to 3% of their expected revenue. Plus, for companies already invested in Microsoft Azure, there's often an added financial kicker. Using these platforms can count towards their Microsoft Azure consumption commitment, their MSCC credits, so they get more value from their existing cloud spend.
So the ROI is multifaceted: efficiency, customer satisfaction, direct sales, cost avoidance, sustainability enablement. It hits a lot of buttons.
It really does. Which brings us, I think, to the final, maybe provocative question for our listener. Thinking about all this, what's the single most important idea they should take away from this deep dive into transforming the aftermarket?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored this critical, often hidden world of aftermarket services, unpacked the common challenges, those silent revenue killers, and seen how digital transformation is offering real, concrete solutions, especially through things like advanced digital catalogs and these integrated specialty apps. And it's clear, right? This isn't just about making operations smoother. It's about driving serious revenue growth, genuinely enhancing customer loyalty, and helping businesses hit those crucial sustainability targets. It boils down to orchestrating the right process, empowering the right people, and using the right data at every single customer touchpoint.
Couldn't say it better myself. And that really leads directly into our final thought for you, the listener, to really chew on. In this rapidly evolving aftermarket landscape, the real competitive fight, it isn't just about who has the lowest price on a part anymore. It's about who truly owns the daily digital workflow of the customer and the dealer.
Owning the workflow.
Owning the workflow. So the question is, will your business just be a passive participant, sort of reacting as the market shifts? Or will you seize this opportunity? Will you proactively become that central, indispensable digital hub for your customers, unifying their entire service experience across all the brands they use, all their needs, and in doing so, transform your aftermarket from maybe a cost center or just an afterthought into your primary engine for future growth?